Let us take question number 7. In question number 7, they given one cylinder, and the cylinder contains a fluid which is under pressure. A cylinder which contains a fluid under pressure, internal pressure, and the sides of the cylinder is closed by hemispherical vessels. For these two hemispherical vessels, the pressure force direction is perpendicular to the contact plane. Pressure force is always seems to be a normal compressive force. Now, the cylinder as well as this hemisphere vessels are connected by using a circumferential welded joint. So this joint is produced by the method called submerged arc welding. And interview point of view, you need to remember. Now, the internal pressure inside the cylinder is given as 50 megapascal, and the Young's modulus of the material is given 200 gigapascal. The Poisson's ratio of the material is given 0.3. So in this question, our aim is to calculate what is the thickness of the cylinder divided by the thickness of the spherical vessel. This ratio need to be calculated. Again I am telling. So there is a cylinder initially. Inside the cylinder there is a fluid which is under pressure 50 megapascal. So we already know pressure force seems to be perpendicular to the curved surface. Right? The sides of the cylinder are closed by hemispherical vessels. So these two are connected by a circumferential welded joint. This can also be called as a junction. The junction point between cylinder and sphere. Everyone knows an interval point of view. This point you need to remember. So this done by circumferential joint is done by submerged arc welding. Internal pressure is given, Young's modulus is given, Poisson's ratio is also given. So we need to calculate the ratio of these two for the given one condition if hoop strain for sphere and hoop strain for cylinder is exactly same at the joint. This condition is given. Now, so how to calculate? Directly, if you remember the formula, easily you can substitute here. Hoop strain for sphere is given as sigma h by E, linear strain minus mu times of lateral strain sigma L by E. This is for sphere. Hoop stress or longitudinal stress. This is exactly equal to sigma h by E minus mu times of sigma L by E. This is for cylinder. How this formula came and everything I am going to prove it. But before going to that, I am going to solve the question. Sigma h is exactly equal to sigma L for sphere. That thing also I am going to prove. But whereas sigma h is equal to 2 times of sigma L for cylinder. Keep it in mind. And for sphere the formula is PD by 40. And for the cylinder, sigma h formula is PD by 2t. Sigma L formula is PD by 40. How these relations are came, that also I am going to discuss. Directly if we substitute here, and common PD by 4 times of T is the thickness of the sphere multiplied by 1 minus mu. That is exactly equal to, substitute the formulas here, and common PD by 4T, but this is for cylinder. Common E also. And here 2 minus mu you will get. Now take the thickness of the cylinder in this side divided by thickness of the sphere. That is exactly equal to PD by E, 4E, PD by 4E gets cancelled out. 2 minus mu divided by 1 minus mu you will get. But in the question mu was given directly 2 minus 0.3 divided by 1 minus 0.3. Then you will get the answer as a 2.428. This is the correct answer for this question. Just if you are able to remember this relation, easily we can calculate. But how this relation came? The derivation I am going to discuss. For that, there are some assumptions also there. That assumptions also I am going to give. Let us say if you increase the internal pressure inside the cylinder continuously for a cylinder, if you increase the internal pressure continuously, then it may fail because of two reasons. One is the plane which is along the length, the other one is the plane which is perpendicular to the length. For example, if failure happen, it seems to be like this. This is the half part of the cylinder. So as we already know, the pressure force is acting over that half of the curved surface. The pressure force is acting over that half of the curved surface. The pressure force, because of the pressure force, the cylinder wants to burst in this direction. But this material will offer some resistance. Resisting force. And here also, the thickness. Here also it will offer resisting force. So if you look at from the bottom view, that seems to be like this. Length of the cylinder. This is the thickness of the cylinder. The pressure force is acting in this curved surface. This is the curved surface. Pressure force, it's a normal compressive force towards the paper. So pressure force, this is the representation. Compressive force representation should be like this. And this is the diameter. The cross section of the cylinder which will resist the failure is L multiplied by T and L multiplied by T. So these two are the cross sections which will resist the failure. So we know this type of failure, E seems to be on the circumference. Keep it in mind, circumferential failure, we can call it as circumferential failure. So for equilibrium condition, the pressure force offered by the fluid, that should be exactly equal to the resisting force offered by the material. The pressure force is exactly given as P multiplied by projected area. Projected area means if you put torchlight on the top of the surface, whatever the shade that we can observe, that is in the form of rectangle. So this is the projected area for fluid. Understand? So when we are going to consider the projected area, whenever if you want to calculate pressure force on the curved surface, there you need to take projected area. Projected area. So pressure multiplied by the projected area is L multiplied by dl. So pressure force because of the fluid, that should be exactly equal to the resisting force offered by the material is exactly given as stress multiplied by what is the resisting area, 2 times of L multiplied by T. So whatever the stress that I have taken, this can be called as hoop stress or circumferential stress. Because circumferential failure, circumferential stress. From this L gets cancelled out. There you will get hoop stress formula as PD divided by 2T. Di indicates inner diameter of the cylinder. In a similar way, in the first case of failure, there will be another chance to get the failure. That is the plane which is perpendicular to the length. If that type of failure happens, then the part of cylinder seems to be like this. Let us say this is the left part of the cylinder, there is a right part of the cylinder also. So this will be the cross section which will resist the failure. Exactly. So there are two types of failure which will happen. The failure in this direction, the failure in this direction. So previous case we took it as a circumferential failure, but here it is a longitudinal failure, we can call it as. And this is the area for pressure. Pressure force is acting in that area only, P multiplied by pi by 4 d square. Now this is the area which will offer resisting force against to this failure. Resisting force. For equilibrium condition, these to be exactly equal, P multiplied by pi by 4 di square should be exactly equal to resisting force sigma multiplied by area. Sigma L I am taking multiplied by area. This area is given as length of circumference multiplied by thickness. So pi di is the circumferential length multiplied by thickness. So from this formula, pi gets cancelled out, inner diameter gets cancelled out. Sigma L you will get it as PD divided by 4 times of T. The stress which was induced by the material along the length can be called as longitudinal stress. The previous one is hoop stress, and here this is longitudinal stress. From these two directly we can say sigma H is greater than sigma L. Not only greater, exactly sigma H is equal to 2 times of sigma L. This is the relation we have proved. So whenever sigma H is greater than sigma L, this can be called as a design stress. To design the pressure vessel, we have to consider sigma H. Now, for this there are some assumptions are there. Whatever the formula that I have discussed, to derive these formulas, some assumptions are there. The first assumption, the cylinder should be a thin pressure vessel. Thin pressure vessel means there is a condition for it. Whenever if you want to say it is a thin pressure vessel, its diameter should be greater than or equal to 15 to 20 times of its thickness. Diameter is greater than or equal to 15 to 20 times of its thickness, then only we can call it as the pressure vessel is a thin pressure vessel. In thin pressure vessel, there are two things are there. One is thin cylinders, the second one is thin spheres. Till now we have discussed thin cylinders. Now if you take thin spheres, because of the fluid pressure, if the sphere bursts, the type of failure is a circumferential failure. In any direction, only you will get a circumferential failure. So similar way, this is the pressure force, P multiplied by pi by 4 di square, and the resisting force is given as sigma H multiplied by the area which will resist the failure is circumferential length multiplied by thickness. So pi di multiplied by thickness. So these two are exactly equal for equilibrium condition. There you will get a sigma H or sigma L. You should not say sigma L, actually both are equal. PD by 40. For cylinder case, these two are separate, but for sphere case, these two are exactly equal. No need to indicate which one is hoop, which one is longitudinal, if it is the case of a spherical vessel. Now, the point is, if you want to calculate the hoop strain for cylinder, the formula is given as sigma H by E minus mu times of sigma L by E. Here, the sigma H by E is a linear strain or a longitudinal strain, and here this is lateral strain. This thing we can calculate from Hooke's law, this thing we can calculate from Poisson's ratio, lateral strain. So in the hoop direction, in the hoop strain direction, so this is the net strain value. In a similar way, but here this formula is PD by 2T, this formula is PD by 40 that we have proved. For the case of sphere, similar formula I am going to use, sigma H by E minus sigma L by E times of, here these two are having the same formula of PD by 40. So these two are exactly equal that they given in the question. So from that condition we calculate the ratio of thickness of cylinder to thickness of sphere. Right. So what we can observe, some more information also I can discuss. Observation. If you want to draw more circle for cylinder, as we already know, more circle is the graphical representation between normal strain to shear strain. If you draw the more circle for cylinder, sigma H will be here, that is almost equal to sigma 1, exactly equal to sigma 1. Sigma L will be here, that is exactly equal to sigma 2, and this is tau max. So more circle for cylinder. If you want to draw the state of stress, that means on the cylinder, if you consider any point on its circumference, there if you want to draw the state of stress, in x direction the stress which was developed is sigma L, but in y direction the stress which was developed is sigma H. Both are in tensile nature. So this is the state of stress. Now if you want to draw the state of stress for sphere, it's a very important point for interview point of view. Sigma H and sigma L both are exactly equal, then more circle radius becomes to 0, or more circle tends to a point on the positive x-axis. This is for sphere. The reason is if you want to draw the state of stress, in this direction sigma h, and in this direction sigma L, sigma, both are exactly equal. So this is the maximum information we need to know regarding to thin cylinders, thin speeds. So keep it in mind. So this is one of the assumptions that we consider thin pressure vessel. If in the case of thick pressure vessel, the separate analysis will be there. Like this, one more assumption also we need to consider. The pressure inside the cylinder or inside the pressure vessel should be uniform. It should not vary. It should not vary with respect to Z. That means along the depth, it should not vary. In fluid mechanics, it will vary. The formula is given as P is equal to rho G Z, rho G H. But here, keep it in mind, whatever the pressure of the fluid is given, that should be uniform at any point. At any point, it should not vary according to the depth. So whatever the variation is there, that can be neglected. The important point, whatever the pressure variation is there along the depth direction, that is neglected compared to the magnitude of this PIE. This will be very, very high, 50 megapascal, right? So, but here, whatever the internal pressure, whatever the Young's modulus they have given, these two are surplus data. No need to use. Directly we can calculate without using this. So PD by 4E, PD by 4E gets cancelled out. So the correct answer for this question is 2.428. So this is the information that you need to know. Some more question also we'll discuss regarding to pressure vessels.